What we're going to talk about today is why knowing what you want isn't enough. Okay, so most people already know what they want to do. Maybe they want to drink less alcohol, eat healthier foods, move their body more, or even start that business that is their passion, and yet they don't do it. And it isn't because people are lazy or they lack discipline or they don't have the same level of willpower as somebody else. It's because they're trying to navigate life using an internal map that no longer fits. So in this video, I want to explain why knowing what you want isn't enough and what's actually missing when intention does not turn into action. If you don't know me, my name is Swann. I'm a strategic psychotherapist, and strategic is the key word there because I work with processes and strategy. I help people recognize where they're operating from an outdated map. I design a new one that fits where they want to go, and I co-pilot them as they navigate life and business. So we've been taught that if we want something badly enough, then what we do is we write out our strategy, we form a strategy, and then we just follow through with it with the help of willpower, discipline, consistency. Easy, right? But let's gently dismantle this. This is where I'm going to bring in my new tool, which is really fun. I can't work from scripts, it just doesn't happen. So I've got notes, but I've got this new little writing tool, which I'm actually super excited about. Okay, so willpower. Let's just talk about willpower for a moment. Willpower lives in the conscious mind. And actually, before we move on, I want to explain to you the difference between conscious, subconscious, and non-conscious. We have the conscious mind. And this is what we are aware of in our waking state. And aware is a key word here. It's what we perceive. It's where our thoughts, our experiences live. It's where our sensations and immediate environment we perceive through our senses, responsible for higher cognitive function, like planning, decision-making, problem-solving, and impulse control. So then we have the subconscious mind. Now this operates just below the level of awareness. So it's through intention that we can access what's going on there. And we can only access a portion of it. But this is where my work takes place. Our subconscious mind is where we keep all of our accumulated life experiences. All of them. And the amazing thing about the subconscious mind is it doesn't know the difference between what really happened and what was imagined. So it's so huge, it's so powerful. I've referenced in other videos the exact bits per second that's processed, which I can't remember right now. But I quite like this metaphor. If you imagine that you've got a guy with a little torchlight just shining on an area of the ground, that is the capacity, that torchlight is the capacity of your conscious mind. Now, in comparison, your subconscious mind is the power grid of electricity that is powering a whole city. So it's huge, and it's responsible for 95% of our behavior. And unless we intentionally work with the subconscious mind, it's subconscious, it's out of our awareness. So what I'm saying is, even if you had 100% of the willpower and determination of a human being, it would only be 5% of your whole mind. This is why we have to work in the space, in that area, in the field of the subconscious. It's not woo-woo. It's where we need to rewire. Now, non-conscious. This is primordial, and it's responsible for our survival. It works 24/7, and generally we don't access it. The non-conscious signals from the non-conscious do pass through to the conscious, and we can, that's a whole other area to speak about, which we might get to later on. but it's responsible for your bodily functions, and much more. But for the purposes of this video, we're not going to deal with the conscious mind, the non-conscious mind for now. So what I'm saying is, willpower and determination live in the conscious mind, the tiny one. And even if you had 100% of willpower, that still only presents 5% of your whole mind. And something else to consider is when you're under pressure, when you're not well, when you're tired, when there's uncertainty, when you're emotionally led. And that's when, if we start to feel uncomfortable internally, we might read that there's something wrong, when actually it's what I call turbulence. You're basically flying through conditions that you haven't learned to navigate. That's it. So what I'm saying is, we need to build the internal system, the internal map, to get you where you want to go, so that you can do what you say you want to do. So let's talk a little bit about outdated maps and why we're operating from outdated maps. So first of all, we've got the territory. And the territory is what we call our reality. And I say reality because reality is very subjective. I talk about that in other videos. But every one of us is navigating life from the internal map that we built. And almost all of us, until we do this subconscious work to remap our route, we're operating from maps that we designed when we were too young to even know what we were doing. For example, one of your maps might be stay small, stay quiet, be good. We learned that at school. It helped us fit in, we didn't get in trouble, our parents were happy with us. These maps are shaped by our experiences, and they once made sense. But we're not at school anymore. And the problem is, most people don't update their maps. Even when their life or their identity or their ambition, situation, circumstances change. So many people say to me that what they want is freedom, but I can see that they're operating from a map of security first. They want growth, but they're operating from a map of survival. They want consistency, but they're relying on a map that requires effort and not alignment. You cannot navigate a new destination with an outdated map. And this is why strategy alone, even though I'm a strategic psychotherapist, but strategy alone doesn't work. And it's not because having a strategy is wrong. I am a firm believer in strategy. I love it. But you have to map it onto an identity that is built from an internal system that is ready to carry it. People adopt strategies that's actually built for a future version of themselves, and they don't do the identity mapping in between. Identity lags behind intention, and behavior defaults to what's familiar under pressure. So real change does not come from pushing harder. It does not come from relying on effort, willpower, and determination. It comes from orientating correctly, knowing where you are, knowing where you're going, and choosing the most effective route internally. And when someone updates the map that they're operating from, something really, really interesting happens. Action happens. No more procrastination, no more inconsistency, no more battling and then feeling crap about yourself. The momentum is there. Follow through becomes more natural. Consistency is there. You know, turbulence is always going to come. We are always going to face challenges in life. Life is not fair, but we can handle the turbulence. We just need the right tools, equipment, and we need the right maps to follow. So if you've been stuck in a loop, knowing what you want, but year on year just not quite being able to do it, I want you to consider this. There is nothing wrong with you. You can do it, and the plan, what you want to do, fits you perfectly. You're just operating from an internal map that no longer fits. If this way of thinking resonates with you, just stay with the conversation. Subscribe to this channel if you want more ways of navigating life and business. Thank you.